In the wake of Kamala Harris, there have been many different political analysts and thinkers and pundits in the commentariat trying to do autopsies on her campaign, asking the central question: why did Kamala Harris lose? And the primary thesis that seems to be coming out of the corridors of these different chattering classes seems to be that she lost because America is somehow a sexist nation, or America is somehow a racist country, or America just isn't ready for a strong woman, or something like that.
A district that's 97% Latino went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
So
and they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
The lessons are not.
Or this is one of my favorites, that somehow the minorities within America, especially Latinos who helped propel Trump to the top, are somehow voting against their self-interest because they've been propagandized by disinformation. Indeed, people are blaming disinformation and misinformation and lies and propaganda, and some people are even calling for harsher controls on social media. All of these theses, if you could even call them that, are completely incorrect and miss the heart and the spirit as to why Kamala Harris lost. No, on election day, Americans didn't just reject Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or the Democratic Party or whatever. Americans rejected philosophical progressivism. And understanding why they did that is going to be very important, I think, in having a correct assessment of what's going on right now and the phenomenon that is going to occur within the next few months to the next few years as America continues to revitalize its republic, and this video will do just that. My friends, I'm going to keep my intro short for this one. I normally don't do that. I'm Christian Watson, and you're watching Pensive Politics. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy political and social commentary with a philosophical bent, then like, share, comment, subscribe, and let us please get into the video. So, to understand why Kamala Harris lost, you must first understand the philosophies that underpin American civilization. Because these philosophies, even if they are butchered and ignored and disgraced and demeaned by both the government and the press, still undergird the thinking of so many Americans on how they view their country. America is a country founded off of self-governance. The idea that you are the person, not just self-governance, but self-ownership. The idea that you are the person that has the ability to direct your life better than anyone else, and that you own yourself, you own your property, and those are going to be the enabling means of you directing your life. America is built upon the idea of objective truth and natural law, the idea that truth stands independent of political power and must be respected by everyone, including society and including the government. America was built upon the idea of thrift and industriousness, that people, when they worked hard and they applied their creative wills to the world around them, they will be able to transform their lives for the better, and if it's for the worse, at least they can learn from their mistakes. America is founded upon the idea that you should be able to learn from your mistakes. America is founded upon the ancient principles of classical republicanism, that the government should be constituted in such a way that it filters out the passions of the crowds. It filters out the tyranny of the numerical majority. It protects the numerical minority. It reduces the potential for tyranny, and all in all, it stands as a safeguard for universal principles over anything else that would seek to be contrary to it. America was constituted upon so many different things. And Kamala Harris's candidacy rejected every single one of those things, because progressivism as an idea, and we've seen this over the past 120 plus years since it's been in full effect in our institutions, is completely and utterly anathema to America. The progressive traditions, going all the way back to Woodrow Wilson, believe the Constitution is not good because the Constitution does not evolve with society, and therefore it should be discarded. The progressives believe that your life should be managed by the benevolent experts that exist within the halls, the marble ornate halls of power, and that if they go away, somehow we're open up to exploitation and we're open up to evil more than if they were there. In contrast to Americanism, progressivism views history as the ultimate value. Progressivism views, for example, social progress is more important than the eternal principles that actually guide the existence and maintenance of civil society. And progressives believe that experts, those who are specialized in their domains of knowledge, are the ones by which social progress can be actualized through proper administration. All of these things, not only are they anti-American to the core, they are an encapsulation of the positions that Kamala Harris has had, and to most people, these things are absolutely anathema to what their own understanding of America is. Kamala Harris did not lose because of her race, because of her gender, or even because of her odd laugh. Kamala Harris lost because her vision of American civilization is distinct from the heritage and the ideological history of our nation. Kamala Harris lost because she was an absolutely horrible candidate whose entire message was based on passion. Passion may fill a Taylor Swift concert, it may fill a stadium with adoring fans, but passion does not substantively address how to govern a country. Only reason and wisdom and knowledge generally can substantively address that goal. She lost because younger voters, like me, I'm 24, it may not seem like it, but I am, and I voted 100% for Trump, are rejecting the progressive vision at record rates and instead embracing good old-fashioned Americanism. We want to own our own house and not rent for the rest of our life. We want to have courageous conversations that are not bound by the mediocre musings of hate speech and sensitivity. We want to have a country that respects its citizens and cares more about them than they do the citizens of Great Britain or Sweden or France or Ukraine or any other country. We want to have a nation that is actually supposed to be doing what it is doing. She lost because Americans, by virtue of the principle of MAGA, Make America Great Again, are becoming awakened to the corrupt nature of the system and the elitism that resides therein, both of which Kamala Harris embodies as a political candidate. Her entire career embodies the problem of elitism and corruption. Her entire career, with her persecuting people for nonviolent offenses, and then on the other side of her face saying, I am against this corrupt system. You are the corrupt system. Her entire career, essentially trying to forsake people's rights within prisons just because the government needs them to be cheap labor, which is one of the justifications her office used. Her entire career has been the embodiment of everything wrong with the political system. That's why she lost. She lost, most importantly, because the society of status is also unraveling in modern American society. The society of status is an old world construct that assails the very essence of Americanism, that essentially says your value as a human being and what you have to contribute is based off of what kind of power you have, what kind of family you're born into, what kind of power you're close to, what your titles are. This was the idea that dominated Europe. This was the idea that undergirded the existence of the monarchy. This is the idea that I think wreaked havoc upon the creative potentials of so many people, which is why when America, which was founded upon the New World idea that man himself has a spiritual value, and that spiritual value can express itself within the context of him freely interacting with his people, with his country, and then therefore that's where value comes from, not from status. That idea, within 250 plus years, has quite literally produced some of the greatest amounts of human progress, real progress, not fake progress, that we have seen in the past hundreds of years of human history. That is why Kamala Harris won, because her candidacy represents status. It represents somehow this false, vain significance given to gender and her supposed race. It reflects this sort of false significance given to class. You can only say that you were raised in a middle-class family so much before it becomes a redundant statement, and it has nothing to do with the value you actually provide to the country. That's why she lost, because the society of status is crumbling. The corporate media is crumbling, and it's beautiful to see, because when that happens, that means more people will be reconnected with their American identity. The reason it's important to understand principles is not to feel smart, it's not to feel enlightened, it's primarily to understand who you are. Because America is not just a nation. America is a statement about humanity. It's a worldview about humanity. And when more of us understand that, that's when real patriotism will come in. Not this patriotism where you're holding your hand over your heart and saluting a flag. That's all great and well, I'm not knocking that. But a patriotism where you understand what that flag actually means, where you understand what kind of history it's had, where you understand how that flag is so distinct from the political symbol of every single other country, that's when real patriotism comes in. Kamala Harris lost because inauthenticity is a poor currency that only buys you short-term gratification. But within a society of people that want more than that, that actually feel things happening to them, it provides you absolutely nothing. Kamala Harris lost because Americans are getting tired of being lectured about every aspect of their lives and told to accept certain ideologies that relate to their kids or their families without question, lest they be distinguished as a bigot. Kamala Harris lost because economic wisdom reigns supreme for most people. Kamala Harris lost because the prospect of losing the right of free expression, one of the most basic cornerstone American rights and the basis of any good civil society, is a little more than an oppressive nightmare for most Americans. Kamala Harris lost because managerialism, the idea that the bureaucrats and the experts should be empowered to direct the identity and the course of society, as opposed to like morally energized citizenry, that idea is being rejected by people because that idea itself leads to nothing more but ruin. Kamala Harris has lost on several levels. And if you really want to understand the significance of these levels, you must understand what America is. Kamala Harris lost because Americans are getting tired of our foreign policy and the values therein being guided by considerations of international organizations as opposed to a consideration of a concrete nation. Kamala Harris lost because Americans are getting tired, rather, of being called Nazis and Hitler simply for supporting someone who is demonized in the mass consciousness. Kamala Harris lost because, as I mentioned before, everything she represented as an avatar is everything that has been deteriorating the quality of our country for decades. And thank goodness there's been a response. As I said before, electing Donald Trump is only step one. Step 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, go on ad infinitum, I don't care. All those steps will be taken by you, by understanding our civilization, by understanding the ideas that animate it, and by providing a positive agenda for the future, for America to flourish and be at its best days. And I believe we now have the ability, a golden opportunity, more than any other time in recent history, to do just that. And I hope all of you will join me on that journey. My friends, like, share, comment, subscribe. Do whatever you can to get our messages out there. My friends, study history, study philosophy, remain morally convicted, and please stay pensive. Bye, guys.